The betrayal arrived on a normal morning, the kind that promised nothing unusual. Aaron woke before his alarm, already thinking about the meeting scheduled for noon. It was meant to be a turning point, the day his long work would finally be seen. He dressed quickly, skipped breakfast, and drove through quiet streets with a calm confidence. For 2 years he had lived for this project. It was built from his ideas, his plans, his risk. Every late night and early morning felt worth it now. As he entered the office building, he felt a sense of ownership that came from sacrifice. He believed trust had carried him this far. The meeting room filled slowly. Board members took their seats, voices low and polite. Aaron sat near the end of the table, laptop open, notes ready. Daniel arrived last, relaxed and smiling, as he always did. He greeted everyone with ease, moving through the room like it belonged to him. Aaron noticed how people leaned toward Daniel, how they laughed at his simple jokes. It was not new, but today it felt sharper. Still, Aaron pushed the thought aside. Daniel was his partner, his closest ally in the company. They had built this together, or so Aaron believed. When the presentation began, Aaron waited for his cue. Slides appeared on the screen, familiar charts and plans he knew by heart. But as Daniel spoke, something felt wrong. The words were close to Aaron's own, yet his name was missing. Daniel spoke with confidence, taking credit with smooth phrases that sounded practiced. Aaron's chest tightened. He expected correction. A pause where Daniel would acknowledge him. It never came. Each slide moved forward, and with it, Aaron felt himself being erased. The room reacted with interest. Heads nodded. A few members leaned forward, impressed. When Daniel finished, applause followed, quick and sincere. One board member praised his leadership. Another spoke about vision and courage. Aaron sat frozen, hands still, smile locked in place. He could not move. He could not speak. His mind raced, trying to understand what had just happened. This was not a mistake. It was too clean, too complete. The truth hit him hard and fast. Daniel had planned this. Daniel glanced at Aaron and smiled, as if sharing a private victory. Then he said the words that sealed it. We took a risk, but it paid off. The word we felt empty. Aaron nodded slowly, his heart pounding. He knew then that the person he trusted most had stepped over him without hesitation. The meeting ended soon after, filled with congratulations and handshakes. Aaron stood when everyone else did, moving, as if on instinct. Daniel clapped him on the back and whispered, "Good job. We did it." The words felt cruel, even if spoken softly. Aaron left the room and walked down the hallway without direction. The office felt different now, like a place he no longer belonged. He entered the stairwell and sat on the steps, breathing hard. His thoughts moved fast, sharp and painful. Anger rose, followed by disbelief. He replayed the moment again and again, searching for an excuse, a reason that made sense. But every replay led to the same truth. Daniel had chosen himself by the time Aaron reached his desk. The shock had settled into something colder. He opened files, checked emails, and reviewed old messages. Small details he once ignored now stood out. Daniel had asked for copies of drafts. Daniel had suggested changes that placed his name first. Daniel had spoken to the board alone more than once. The signs had been there, hidden under trust. Aaron felt foolish for missing them, but regret only fueled his anger. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Coworkers congratulated Daniel openly. Few nodded at Aaron with polite smiles, unaware of what had happened. He answered questions, finished tasks, and left the office later than usual. Outside, the city lights flickered on, but he barely noticed. His phone buzzed with a message from Daniel. "Drinks tonight. We should celebrate." Aaron stared at the screen and felt something shift inside him. Trust did not break loudly. It broke in silence. That night, sleep refused to come. Aaron lay, awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every shared moment with Daniel. They had started as equals, driven by the same goal, or at least Aaron had thought so. He remembered the early days, the excitement, the promises of loyalty. Now those memories felt heavy. Betrayal was not just about loss. It was about doubt. Aaron questioned his judgment, his values, his ability to read people. The pain was not sharp anymore. It was deep and steady. By morning, anger had turned into focus. Aaron returned to the office early before anyone else arrived. He opened his computer and began gathering records. Every file told a story, and that story belonged to him. He was careful, calm, and precise. He did not rush. Revenge did not need speed, it needed patience. As the sun rose outside the window, Aaron felt a sense of control return. The betrayal had taken something from him, but it had also awakened something he did not know was there. When Daniel arrived, he acted as if nothing had changed. He joked, shared plans, spoke about the future with confidence. Aaron watched him closely, seeing him clearly for the first time. Daniel believed he was justified. In his mind, success required bold moves. Loyalty was flexible. Aaron realized. This made Daniel dangerous, but also human. This was not a simple story of good and bad. It was a story of choice. As the day unfolded, Aaron stayed quiet. He listened more than he spoke. He observed how Daniel controlled conversations, how he shaped perception. Each moment added weight to Aaron's resolve. The desire for revenge grew, not from hate, but from the need to reclaim his truth. He told himself this was about balance, about setting things right, yet deep down, he knew anger was driving him forward. By the end of the day, Aaron stood alone again in the office. Lights dimmed, city silent outside. The betrayal had changed everything. Trust was gone, replaced by determination. This was only the beginning. The quiet war had started, and Aaron was ready to see it through. Aaron did not rush. The days after the meeting became a test of control. He moved through the office with a calm face, answering emails, attending calls, doing his work as usual. Inside, his thoughts ran fast and sharp. Every smile from Daniel felt false. Every casual word sounded planned. Aaron watched, listened, and remembered. He learned when Daniel arrived, who he spoke to, what stories he told. Patience became his shield. He understood now that revenge made in anger often failed. If he was going to act, it had to be done right. At home, the silence felt heavy. Aaron lived alone, and the quiet gave his thoughts too much space. He stopped turning on the television. Instead, he reviewed documents late into the night. Old files, early drafts, timestamps, messages. Proof slowly came together like pieces of a puzzle. Each discovery brought relief and pain at the same time. Relief, because he was not wrong. Pain, because the betrayal was deeper than he first believed. Daniel had not acted once. He had planned this for months. Aaron's anger changed shape. It was no longer wild. It became focused. He started asking himself questions he had avoided before. What did he really want? Public shame? Career damage? An apology? Each option played out in his mind. Some felt powerful. Others felt empty. He imagined Daniel losing everything and felt a brief spark of satisfaction. Then he imagined the aftermath. The company shaken. Its own name. Tied to conflict, the spark faded. Revenge promised relief, but it also demanded a price. Daniel, unaware or pretending to be, continued his confident stride. He spoke about expansion, about future projects, about shared success. In meetings, he used Aaron's ideas freely, shaping them as his own. Aaron felt the sting each time, but said nothing. He told himself silence was temporary. Still doubt crept in during quiet moments. Was he becoming someone he did not recognize? Was holding on to revenge changing him in ways he could not see yet? One evening, Aaron met an old colleague for coffee. The conversation was light at first. then careful. Aaron did not accuse. He asked simple questions. The answers confirmed what he feared. Daniel had been positioning himself as the sole leader for some time. The board trusted him. They saw results, not origins. Aaron realized the fight would not be simple. Truth mattered, but timing mattered more. Back at the office, Aaron began to prepare. He organized files into clear timelines. He wrote notes explaining decisions only he could have made. He gathered proof without drawing attention. Each step felt heavy, like walking deeper into a narrow tunnel. He felt alive and trapped at the same time. The desire for payback pushed him forward, but his conscience pulled at him from behind. Late one night, Aaron sat alone, staring at the evidence spread across his desk. The plan was almost ready. One meeting could change everything. Yet his hands shook slightly. He thought about who he would be after this was done. Victory could restore his name, but it could also harden him. He remembered who he was before the betrayal. Someone who believed in shared success. Someone who trusted easily. That version of him felt distant now. Daniel called the next day, cheerful and relaxed. He spoke about a future role, hinted at promotion, spoke as if Aaron should be grateful. Aaron listened quietly, feeling the weight of the lie. When the call ended, he felt a mix of anger and sadness. Daniel truly believed his actions were justified. In his mind, results excused everything. That realization hurt more than the theft itself. As the week moved on, Aaron noticed changes in himself. He slept less, he spoke less, he thought constantly. The desire for revenge began to clash with something deeper. He did not want to become a reflection of Daniel. Yet doing nothing felt like surrender. He stood between two paths, both uncertain. The pressure reached its peak when Aaron learned of an upcoming board review. Daniel would present again. This time, the future of the project would be sealed. Aaron knew this was his moment. He could expose everything in front of everyone. The idea filled him with a dark excitement. His heart raced at the thought. This was what he had been preparing for. The night before the review, Aaron walked through the city to clear his head. The streets were quiet, the lights soft. He thought about the cost of holding on to anger. He felt tired, not just in body, but in spirit. Revenge had consumed his thoughts. For weeks, it had given him purpose, but it had also taken peace. He wondered if revenge was truly about justice or simply about control. Back home, he reviewed the files one last time. Everything was ready. The choice was his alone. As dawn approached, Aaron sat in silence, feeling the weight of what was coming. The conflict inside him was louder than any argument. He knew that. Whatever he chose would change him forever. The war was no longer just with Daniel. It was within himself. The morning of the board review arrived with clear skies and heavy air. Aaron woke early, dressed without thinking, and left his apartment before the city fully stirred. His mind was sharp, alert, almost calm. The weeks of planning had led to this point. Every step he took toward the office felt final. He carried the evidence in a simple folder, light in his hands but heavy in meaning. Today, the quiet war would end. Inside the building, the familiar sounds felt distant. Voices echoed, keyboards clicked, phones rang. Aaron moved through it all like a shadow. When he reached the meeting room, Daniel was already there, relaxed, confident, greeting board members with easy smiles. He spoke about growth and vision, about leadership and results. Aaron watched him closely, no longer angry, just aware. This was who Daniel was, ambitious, skilled, and convinced that success justified his choices. The meeting began on time. Daniel stood at the front, presenting charts and plans with practiced ease. The board listened closely. Aaron sat silently, his folder resting on the table in front of him. His heart beat fast, but his hands were steady. As Daniel spoke, Aaron felt the pull of the moment. All it would take was one movement, one interruption. The truth was ready. Daniel reached the part of the presentation that mattered most. The project, Aaron's project. Daniel spoke as if it had always been his. He used the right words, told the story well. The board nodded, impressed. Aaron felt the old anger stir, but it did not take over. Instead, a strange clarity settled. And this was the point of decision he had imagined so many times. The room fell quiet as Daniel finished. A board member asked about ownership, about leadership going forward. Daniel answered smoothly, placing himself at the center. Aaron looked. Around the table, these people were not enemies. They were decision makers, focused on outcomes. He realized something important then. Public revenge would not bring him peace. It would only shift the damage. Aaron stood up. The movement caught everyone's attention. Daniel paused, surprised but still calm. Aaron spoke clearly, his voice steady. He did not accuse. He did not raise his tone. He presented facts, timelines, records, proof of authorship. He explained his role without emotion, without drama. The room listened closely. The silence was deep, focused. Daniel's smile faded slowly, replaced by tension. When Aaron finished, he placed the folder on the table and sat down. He did not look at Daniel. He did not wait for praise. He felt empty and full at the same time. The board asked questions. Aaron answered simply. Daniel spoke less now, his words careful, his confidence shaken. The truth did not explode. It settled, heavy and undeniable. The meeting ended without applause. Board members asked for time. Decisions would follow. Aaron left the room and walked to his office, closed the door and sat quietly. His hands trembled now that it was over. Not from fear, but release. The moment he had planned for weeks had passed, and the world had not ended. The victory felt different than he expected. There was no rush, no thrill. Just calm. Later that day, Daniel came to see him. The confident mask was gone. He looked tired, older. He did not apologize right away, he explained. Pressure, expectations, fear of losing control. Aaron listened without interrupting. He realized this conversation mattered more than the meeting. When Daniel finally stopped speaking, Aaron replied with few words. He said trust had been broken. That success built on betrayal did not last. Daniel nodded, understanding at last. In the days that followed, changes came quietly. The board corrected records. Leadership roles shifted. Daniel stepped back, not publicly destroyed but held accountable. Aaron regained recognition for his work. The company moved forward, slower but more honest. There was no celebration, no public victory. Just balance restored. At home, Aaron felt the weight lift slowly. The anger that once filled every thought began to fade. He slept better. He breathed easier. Revenge had promised satisfaction, but what he found instead was relief. By choosing restraint, he had protected something inside himself. He had faced betrayal without becoming consumed by it. One evening, Aaron walked through the city again. The same streets as before. This time, the lights felt warmer. He thought about how close he had come to letting anger define him. He understood now that revenge could win a moment, but clarity could win a future. The betrayal had changed him, but it had not hardened him. Aaron did not forget what happened. He did not excuse it. But he no longer lived inside it. The quiet war was over. Not because someone lost everything, but because someone chose to stop, fighting the wrong battle. And in that choice, Aaron found something better than revenge. He found peace.